Surely somebody would want to query our panelists here. Yes, please. Please identify yourself. You need a mic. Yeah, a mic.
Well, I am Nendu Kumar. I am from Surveyor Bangalore. I have a basic question. See, industry is saying that we are very much mature now and we are ready to take up any project of the special domain. What is happening till time that government is coming with some sort of project. There is a RFP and private company applied for this RFP. They are fighting among themselves and somebody is getting the project. That is the present scenario. In the other sector, take the telecom or some other highway or somewhere, private company are coming, they are investing money into it and they are getting benefit out of it. So there are some sort of business model developed. But unfortunately in the geospatial domain, there is no such business model right now. So I would like to know from the private sector that what type of business model they want, and in order to implement that business model, what sort of policy reform they want from the government side.
I think we've heard the question. But the first part of it that you mentioned about the RFP and people responding, but if you have an open RFP, people will respond, and they should anyway, and somebody will get the job. So that part of it is understood. The second part of it, anybody would like to answer? Would you? Yeah, please.
I'll just give you a simple example of how the industry is investing back from the perspective of what we do. Now, when the bifurcation of states happened in 2004 or 2002, the Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, at that time we discovered that there was nothing which was happening on the internet from the government side. We went ahead and we took the districts which were there, the district boundaries which were there, and we created maps and we made them online. We realized that yes, there is a revenue side to it. People started looking at our maps, they started coming for it, and we had the advertising revenue to it. This time, when the proposal for Telangana was happening, we had already gone ahead and made one or two versions of what is likely to be the Telangana map. And we made that, we invested in it, we made them online, and we have benefited from it. Today, when everybody started looking for Telangana maps and other things, our maps were already there, or images as we call them, keeping legally ourselves correct, were already online, and they were there for everybody to access. So it's a question of inventing the models, and I'm sure like we are inventing in the vertical where we are, similarly others are also inventing in the verticals they are. The second vertical where we have invented a business model is in the apps, in the iOS and Android apps. We have had close to 1 million downloads of the apps which we have for maps pertaining to India and the world on that. So, and then what happens is when you develop something, it brings some money back, you put the money back into the business to grow it further. We are a non-venture funded company which has grown from 250 map or images online to about 86,000 maps and images online today. And it has all happened because of the initiative which has been taken in the process. Thank you.
Any other question? Yeah, there's a mic for you.
I belong to a private survey company. I do not have any access to the GTS benchmarks which are with the Survey of India. I want to know two things out of these. First is there any policy of Government of India to make the GTS benchmark public? They should not be anymore this restricted data. And secondly, is there any policy that all these benchmarks, they are put on the network so that we can see their description, we can see on the net?
Mr. Pathak would like to answer that.
Basically, we are into the process of earlier using all these GTS benchmark data we have, and we have booklets in which all the descriptions information and all those things are given. So we are in the process of digitizing those benchmark locations, and because you know in earlier the planimetric control and the vertical control, they were taken separately. And for the vertical controls, earlier whatever has been taken, we don't have exact location, planimetric location of those vertical control points as GTS PMs and all. So it was not possible immediately to show it on a map and in the digital format upload it on a system so that everybody can see where GTS benchmarks are there. So we are in the process of doing that, and there are government policies, there are Government of India policies. Some portion of the country is categorized as restricted area where we do not give height up to some accuracies, and some mainly around 40% of the country is, as of now, as per Government of India map policy, it comes under the restricted category, and around 60% of the country where which is unrestricted area, these GTS benchmark are readily available. Yes, of course, you have to approach Survey of India for GTS benchmark of your area of interest, and Survey of India comes back to you with the information that what are all available in that area, and you can purchase it with some price. That is the policy. And in future, we are going to come up with the whole metadata of GTS benchmark on our website, so that people can see what are available, and they can, and the policies also, how can they purchase those data and all those things. So that will be available, so you can directly approach the respective Survey of India offices for purchase of the GTS benchmark data.
No, but as a private player, we cannot even apply for this benchmark data. We have to go through some government organization.
Yes, yes.
And as far I know, there is, I mean, GTS benchmark have nothing to do with restricted area or non-restricted area.
No.
GTS benchmark all over India have the same policy. GTS benchmark data.
No. It is not like that. Even for GTS benchmark in unrestricted area, you can purchase it. You have to approach the Survey of India office, and it will be made available to you. Of course, there are some set of forms are there. That form is because once we are giving data to you, you have to give some undertaking that you are not going to pass it on to somebody else or something like that. So that kind of undertaking you have to give, and you can purchase it with paying the cost of the data.
I think we did try that part, but again we were asked to go through some government organization or through some government department only. As a private player, I cannot get it.
I'll give you my contact address, and you just...
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Seema? Sorry, after this gentleman, yeah. Yeah, please, can you repeat that?
Actually, my question is, the government projects tender issuing through consultants. Some of the consultants issuing the works to survey companies for infrastructure projects like water supply and rail infrastructure, road infrastructures, as well as town planning development. Through consultants only doing the survey jobs. Actually, consultants, they don't have a survey resources. They are outsourcing only. So they are taking the project. After that, they are issuing survey works to the survey companies. So maybe the government directly give to the survey consultants. So we are try to develop latest technologies. We are investing our new technology also. We will invest to this project. But the problem is through the consultants they are not given the good rates to the survey companies. They are come down the rates. They have their own budget. Then the limited budget. So the survey consultants should be suffering. They can't able to work that rates at all. So we can able to give the government projects directly to the survey consultants. We are benefited. So we can able to give the good job, and as far as accuracy also we can able to increase. we can adopt new latest technology also. We are really imposed for LiDAR-based technologies, so we can't able to introduce those kind of technologies, because problem is they are given to the consultant. The consultant is simply said we don't want those kind of things. We want they are reducing the scope. They are compromising the accuracy. They are compromising the accuracy. We want this much of data only. So we are forced to give the survey data to them. So if it is any possible to give the survey projects to the directly survey consultants, really this field will be grow in more than 10 times.
You would like to answer?
Can I react to this
Yeah,
point?
please.
Actually, see, the whole issue, in fact, Surveyor General has talked about authorized surveyors, licensed surveyors, and all those issues. But what I see, most of the government projects, infrastructure project particularly, are operated through consultants. Now, I see this issue related to how information should flow from ground. And the standards which he is talking about, say a consultant is outsourcing the work to some surveyor and then compromising on the quality and standards. Now, say for example, National Highway Authority, they have projects which they give to consultant from feasibility stage to actual implementation. Now, at each stage, certain types of surveys are done by those consultants. But when I try to find out what kind of survey, what kind of data that consultant has generated, is it flowed back to the system? It does not happen. Means today, a topographic map may give me from say route of NH8, but I don't know which project from which chainage value to which chainage value is operating for, say, conversion of 4-lane highway to 6-lane highway. So that information, now whatever the experimentation for LiDAR survey, in fact Genesis is doing it, is done, it is not part of that process. Giving the job to consultant, and then consultant is going to use LiDAR survey. So there is no institutionalized mechanism to make that arrangement in the country. So all these things happens in a isolated manner. They are not part of, suddenly they say this particular patch of the road has having lot of maintenance problem, let us go for LiDAR survey. That LiDAR survey does not get any benchmark data of the past done by collected by consultant, because that has not gone to system. So these are the problems. Ultimately, again, it leads to having a proper standards on survey and mapping in the country, making it available as a benchmark. This is the standards you have. Any consultant has to follow for this purpose. These are the standards for road alignment survey. These are the standards for that. And if you don't give the data back to the system in that form, your contract cannot work like that. So that institutionalized system is not there. And along with, that's why I'm saying somewhere there should be a survey and mapping portal with all those information available, and government should notify those standards. These are the standards will be used as a benchmark by consultants and contractors. Then only this end-to-end integration will happen. Thank you.
I think that is why there's a big case for...
May I react to this particular question? I think what he said and Nirmalendu, if I put both together, what he was suggesting is that the government should directly give the job to a consultant.
Exactly.
No,
But-
not the consultant, surveyor.
Through a consultant. No. In the absence of any certification of the consultant, what is the job of a consultant? He should advise the government for a particular project that these are the activities which has to be done. Now, for each activity, there has to be some standard, and then once an activity has been identified, it has to go through an open tendering process. Otherwise, you cannot have the transparency. You are otherwise encouraging monopolistic approach. The project has to be done in a transparent manner. All the project subcomponents has to be very clearly spelled out with standards and the timeline, the output required. Then the question has got no relevance in that, but it is talking about a particular business model. Consultant has got a limited role of advising the government how the project should be executed.
So the taking the consultants, they don't have here even DGPS, total station, they don't have any such a kind of equipments. They are absolutely outsourcing for the survey part. They are outsourcing all the collection of data. The best of the data only that sitting in office, they are designing and making the DPR. All of the consultants throughout the India, all of the consultants, more than 1,000 consultants, they are doing like that only. Full and full survey part they are outsourcing only. So maybe the survey part government directly given. So we will give the more accurate. Also we will develop latest technology. So nowadays we can't able to develop the technology. The problem is they are telling we are giving this much of rate only. We can do within this rate only you can do the work like that. So we can't able to develop our technology. So that is the reason we are exposing.
I'd just like to continue on that one. I think he's bringing across to everybody here on the panel and everybody around here a genuine problem. I think this is something we should keep in mind, that it is happening on the ground, that sometimes work that is outsourced is something that the consultant themselves, and I think the main reason the outsourcing is done because the consultant can't do it themselves, or at least cannot do it at that price, let's put it that way. So this is a genuine problem and it needs to be considered, and I would suggest to those who are in the know of the matter and know how to handle these things, please keep it in mind for the future. It will help a lot of people.
Because all the people are suffering this issue. The concern, what is the problem is, for example, they are designing for sewer line and water line for city. One consultant has taken the project. They are asking, you can use only for the auto level, take the levels. Also, using the roadometer, take the length of the road. That is sufficient for us, like the telling. So we can able to put the total station. We can collect the entire detail. So they get more information. They are reducing their actually scope. They are reducing. We can able, because our budget is per kilometer this much of rate only. You can reduce the scope. Like that, they are compromising the scope level. So we can't able to give the much service. The quality of good service. That is why we are taking this issue.
There were some other questions. Seema, please.
I have two questions. First one is, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Singh for playing with the words, calling maps the images and making it happen. I would just like to know that, that how accurate are your not-to-scale maps, and were there any impediments in case when you all brought them to, in reality or with us? And the second question is the one that's dear to me. I would like to, Mr. Pathak and even Mr. Padi said that, still, there's a missing capacity building. I would like to ask, and Dr. Manushi Lahiri said that industry is ready to fill that gap and, ready to guide and all that. My honest question is that, is it a genuine, the industry is actually wanting to take care of the capacity building, or industry is having a money-making model into their mind? Because many a times it happens whenever they come to us, they ask per student so much money and so on and so forth. Here I'm Seema Mehra Parihar, a geography teacher. So when it comes to that, you have many people, the ones who have a business model into their mind when they want to train students or they train people in the industry. So in case if you have a genuine thing, I would like to know about that model where you feel that in case if in the days to come, we need people to be trained in geospatial technologies using all that high-end data and all those seamless and interoperability issues which Anirudh talked about. Do we actually genuine have a model in our mind in making our people actual users or real users?
Well, if the question's aimed at me, I don't know how to measure genuineness in people's thoughts. But I do realize after speaking to a lot of people that there is a great enthusiasm in actually wanting to ensure that capacity in survey technologies increases. And as I mentioned right in the beginning, not only in the highly trained people, which is happening anyway. We have our MTechs and BTechs. There is a huge requirement, as we realize today, in the area, in different verticals. where it's not just technology but also domain knowledge of that vertical, sensitizing the surveyor to the requirements of that vertical has been felt. And is industry genuinely interested? I think they should be. It's a way of earning your bread and butter. It's every business has to survive. If this is an area that opens up and trains our people to do a job, I think people will be interested. I don't question people's interest in it when they tell me about this.
I can answer on behalf of at least Genesis that, and I'm sure that our position is the same with many companies who are similar to us, is that we are investing our own resources in training people and eventually offering them employment, because there is a capacity issue. So, and of course, all private sector is guided by, by what the needs of their businesses are, and the needs of our businesses to have more people, and as Dr. Larry said, at the operational level, and we need to build capacity there, and all companies in their own ways are doing it.
And besides, the point in our industry is that because technologies are changing so rapidly, the students who finish college and come to us are not aware of those technologies, and we actually spend months training them to be useful to the companies. And this is across the board. It's not just, say, in Delhi or in any other part of the country. It's across the board. And so there is a huge requirement for training people rapidly so that they can start delivering quickly.
I would like to share my experience. In fact, now I am heading the Indian Institute of Surveying and Mapping, where we run a number of courses, including I have got an MTech program in geomatics and MSc in geospatial technology. And I find the students are getting fully employed, and while going through the biodata also, the other day I was just sending a letter to various industries that I've got these many students and can you give them some jobs. I found that most of the students, they come from very interdisciplinary background. Somebody has done BTech geomatics, somebody has done BTech electronics. And I interviewed all these students. Are you genuinely were interested to do this program, or you just came by fluke? No, but I found they were genuinely interested and they got general motivation, and there are plenty of opportunities in the industry, and it is growing. As far as the salary package is concerned, it may not be very high, but it is very quite modest. Around 30,000 rupees a fresh graduate can expect. That is what I found. In fact, just 3-4 days back, in my office itself, one company came. They recruited people. So for some people, they were taking on 18,000. Some people, they were on 30,000. I was just inquiring how is the thing, and I find maybe in future they can expect better salary. And if we improve the programs, if we introduce programs of certification, just like many other developed countries, I think the capacity building in this particular area has got a lot of scope. From my experience, that is what I am sharing. I've lost 1 year.
As far as the course curriculums and training is concerned, you see the whole area of geospatial or geomatics, what you call, is highly multidisciplinary. See, if you look into industry, say even different kind of job profiles required from or expectation from a student is, say, there is a person who you will call it a GIS solution architect. There is a requirement for, say, GIS programmer. There is a requirement of, say, GIS surveyor. Now, and then there is a requirement of GIS domain specialist. Now, each of these aspects, say, ultimately, in some of the universities where I was discussing the curriculum and other part, now, currently in a GIS or survey and the kind of knowledge which is imparted, it is all mix of it. Ultimately, industry has to participate with the university to create or build capacity in each of these aspects. So that is the thing. In fact, in many of the universities are trying to build that kind of industry connect. Because
in a geomatics or surveying course, you find a person from, say, physics background, geography background, electronics background, computer science background, all domain together in a single batch. And each one would like to go for different aspects of entire industry. So that's the thing.
My part of the question. You see, what we are into three parts of mapping as we say it. It is into mapping portals, mapping products, and mapping projects. Now, mapping projects and mapping products require extremely high quality of accuracy. So what happens is, whatever we learn and do in a highly accurate manner, for instance, we sell our maps of India, which is approved by Survey of India. We send it every 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, depending on the size, and we get that approved from them. We get the stamp. The only thing is that we mention it there because there are certain restrictions out there in terms of doing it. So to cover for those restrictions and limitations, we do that. And then the biggest challenge is, and the biggest learning comes from the portal division. Because people out there who are looking at maps, they are absolutely uncharitable to errors. If I have wrongly spelled somebody's place of birth, or I have pointed out a town which is smaller than the town he was born in and his town is not there, he doesn't allow us to escape. He's absolutely uncharitable. He'll write in his language, he'll shower abuses on us, and we would ensure that we do it. So it is a very strong ecosystem in the portal division which ensures a very high degree of credibility and accuracy to the website. So that's not an issue out there. Thank you. I hope I've answered it.
Any more? Yes?
Yeah, my name is Rahul Jain. I'm from Matrix Geosolutions. My question is to the government fraternity regarding the UAE use perspective in India. Do you have any kind of late policy decisions or late policy use of UAV? Because we all are talking about UAVs and all that stuff. Since we cannot fly aircraft in India and can get the photography done for the bigger projects, as we cannot fly the whole area, but we can do smaller projects within certain altitude limits. Do we have some late policies of use of UAVs?
Firstly, there is no policy as far as the UAVs are concerned. But still, because UAV are flying, so it gets covered under some other policy of flying and unmanned aerial vehicle also. So you need to go to DGCA to take an approval, and it depends on which area you want to fly for what purposes. Again, they will send it to MOD and it will get covered under the some policy of 2006, MOD policy of 2006, where for aerial photography permissions are given. So that is what is being done so far.
So that means you are saying that UAV photography and the aerial photography will be covered into the same thing?
No, there is no exclusive policy for UAV.
Okay.
Firstly, as I said, there is no exclusive policy for UAV. It all depends. So whenever you want to, let us say, approach the government, so naturally you will go to DGCA first.
Yeah.
So DGCA will guide you to MOD, and there you have to again give a purpose, because after all you are going to take the aerial photographs. You are using UAV for aerial photograph and for the purpose of mapping. So somewhere it gets covered and they will examine from as a case-to-case basis.
Yeah, but certainly not for a bigger area. For example, we just need to fly down over a mine. Mine is not going to harm for anybody. It is not a restricted area. It is a personal property of somebody, no, or it is a government area.
Permission will be given case-to-case basis. Now, when you are asking for only you flying UAV over a minefield,
yeah,
okay, so it's a limited area. So where is that area located? Is it located very close to the border, or it is in the hinterland?
Okay.
So all these issues will be examined, and government considers it on case-to-case basis. So the application for such goes through routed through DGCA and MOD, and then permission is given. Many permissions have been given also.
Okay. Thank you.
I think this brings us more or less towards the end of this panel discussion, unless there is somebody else. But I'd like to bring to the notice of the panel here, see, on several occasions people have brought up either direct questions or indirectly mentioned the lack of clarity in these regulations. I think this is affecting industry quite adversely, because nobody is 100% certain that what they're doing is correct or not correct, whether it is acceptable or not acceptable. And most importantly, after having done it, how long do I have to wait to know whether I'm in the right or wrong? You see, so I think what would be really nice is if these regulations are clarified, simplified, and communicated to everybody from one portal, not from different places, but from one portal. And I genuinely believe that will make life much easier for a lot of practitioners in this industry.
This is true for all the Government of India policies.
But why not do it then?
Those are there in the books.
No, this is, so that's why we say, why not do it?
So, of course, the Government of India has to take, I mean, most of the department has the NDSAP policy recently, which has come up. In that, all the Government of India departments has to come out with the policies regarding data sharing and all those things should be available in the public domain for people to know. So, most of the government departments are working in this direction. And very soon, I think this is going to be there in the public domain. So, everybody knows that if he has to take a permission for aerial photography, then where he has to go. So, as of now, once he will go to DGCA, he will find out from there, from some sources, that what is the application, what are the requirements, then he will come to know. It should be there in the public domain so that people can.
I just want to talk about the regulation. In fact, regulation should not become an impediment in technology and service access.
Exactly.
That is the bottom line ultimately. And as Dr. Pathak is talking about National Data Sharing and Access Policy, which is brought by DST, and Open Data Platform is set up by NIC. It is a positive step in that direction, where each government department has asked to declare their negative list, which they don't want in public, and asked to declare their data assets and services, which should be made public. So those services are being made available as a service for any private developer to create their own apps. But in context of geospatial, what is the current scenario, what is happening? See, we have set up a GIS platform. We have an ICS set up a GIS platform services. We are giving services to government, what you call e-governance services. But today, if I want to release a layer of information as a service so that any private developer can access that service and consume their service and develop its own apps, is not possible until and unless data owner allow that layer to be used as a service by private developer, everybody, to develop its own apps. Today, I am giving my map layer service, which is a boundary or maybe a road and anything, only in G2G government mode for developing. Access visualization may be public. But the major question is, the policy, would they like to regulate the content or regulate the access? Access is public right. Access is a right for any developer. And now, once you try to put it, the restriction like, say, after every login password, a user should get OTP. And then only he will be accessed. Now, you are trying to regulate the access, which I think the regulating agency has no right. But as far as the content, okay, security consideration, already NDSAP is allowing the mechanism. Say, you declare your asset, this is public or this is non-public, in advance. You have an open map series. When it is an open map series, it should be available. as a service. I'm not saying redistribution and reselling of the data. It should be available as a service to the community so that each community member can develop its own application and own apps. That is the thing.
But in any case, redistribution and all comes under commercial activities.
Yes, that is commercial.
So that shouldn't be part of it anyway. There's a query from here.
It's not a query, ma'am. I am from Survey of India. I am
Okay.
Bindu Mangat, superintending surveyor. With the permission of the panelist, I just want to add something Mr. Pathak has put on aerial photography policy. Just for the information of all of you, with the guidelines of Ministry of Defence, Survey of India have already developed a portal on aerial photography transaction registry. So this portal is already online from last 2 years, and this so-called aerial photography policy, many of them doesn't know what is the content of the policy, which I understood from these discussions. See, this policy of 8 pages, what should do and what should not do, these are all listed in this PDF format. It is available in our portal under OM and circular page. So anybody who interested to know about what should do and what are the which agencies you have to submit the applications, they can just go through that, and the format of the application is also available in that, and the channel they can follow. And as General Padi sir already told that there is no separate policy for UAV, but this is a new technology. But if we fly with UAV also, we have to take care of that security concerns. And definitely they should approach DGCA with their all the informations from where they have to, which area they have to cover, and from where they take off. All these informations are available in this. And this portal is linked with the Survey of India website also, and it is also available from NSDI website. And anybody who want to search on this portal, they can do. And mainly for this portal, I will tell you, this showcase whatever the aerial photography done in the past. And as you know, Survey of India has already started the aerial photography since very long back. So the data is so enormous. So it will take time to fill it in the portal, but we are still in the process. The recent projects what we are doing, NUIS and coal mine survey, all these are available in this portal. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Ravi. I am from power transmission industry. Just would like to share with the privilege of information and the duty of the government. I just want to share my experience. The thing is, in power line industry, we would like to form the route, power planning for the government side. But the sad part is, one part of the government doesn't know what is the other part of the information is. For example, I want to know the land records. So land record department is not digitalized, number one. Second thing is, they have so much of restrictions to share the information openly to the electricity department. And second thing, we have forestry department, we are doing excellent GIS on forestry and everything. We are making notification of reserve forest every year or every 2 years. But we don't have the GIS mapping of each notification. And so that we have to go to pillar and post to find out where is the real postings are there actually. And with that, the sad part is this is for the government. This is for the government project. The one government project doesn't know what is the other government project's requirement. And this information, there should be a classification. Absolute secrecy should be a secret, I agree. But all this inspiration, how a public can understand which is a reserve forest, so that the people can aware. So this is a reserve forest. They should not go and do any development activity there. So this is the problem actually. Some type of a forum is required to at least integrate all the informations of already the government has done, which to be utilized for the public and other government departments. This is my point of view. Thanks.
So I think that's a very valid suggestion.
How that data could be brought on, say, Survey of India reference system. And put in use. In fact, from an IC side, we are trying to take up such cases as part of IT intervention, each programs and schemes. So such kind of examples happens in many schemes where Survey of India base map of say 50,000 scale layer has to be value added using the spatial information available in common files. So this is again a very challenging area, and set the standards and reference system to bring that information on the base. So this is a good suggestion, and it has to be part of enterprise solution. It has to be one of the requirements.
I don't see any more hands up here. So, and we're doing quite well for time, 90 minutes we've spent discussing and talking about survey and mapping at crossroads. And at the end of this discussion, I do feel it is at the crossroads. There are many things that we can do to benefit both government and industry. And I guess the choice is ours. Do we do it and do it rapidly and well? Of the alternative. Thank you very much, everyone here.